Welcome to Iron Main. Baloney Clark, child genius prodigy and son of a super rich weapons manufacturer who took over the business after his dad's death. A long time ago, was too busy gambling in Vegas to accept an award he doesn't give a fuck about. So his dad's right-hand man or super close friend, who Tony is the superior of now, Obadiah Shitstain, has to accept the award on his behalf. Boney then gets grilled by a reporter for profiting off of murder basically, so he does the ultimate Shad assertion of dominance move and sleeps with that bitch that has the most punchable smiling face on the planet. I can't be the only one thinking that. Ho wakes up in Tony's nerd's wet dream of a house. His assistant sends her off and goes down to tell Tony that he's 3 hours late for his own flight while he's working on his hot rod. Then he annoys her / flirts with her and races off to his private jet where his BFF, Lieutenant Colonel Important Air Force Man Guy Rhodes, has been waiting for him for hours to accompany him on his trip to Afghanistan while he does a weapons demo over there for the army. He's real mad at him, but they fly off anyway and Tony makes it up for him with flight attendant hookers and alcohol. Then sometime later, I'm guessing a long time, they land in Afghanistan, land of terrorism and goat sex.
Let's go, round of applause for Taliban, boys and girls. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Tony gives a live weapons demo of his new cluster missile called the Jericho, hitting some empty Afghani mountains, and jumps into a Humvee to head back to his PJ, I guess, and on the way back, his convoy gets attacked. All the people protecting him get killed, and I don't know how this didn't do any damage to him at all, not even 1 HP. Definitely should have. Anyway, he runs out and gets hit by one of his very own shrapnel bombs, officially becoming Irony Man. That shrapnel bomb should have also killed him, by the way, regardless of whatever vest he was wearing. At least in my opinion, that is. I'm not a fucking expert though, so who cares. He somehow survives and gets taken away by some terrorists to perform life-saving surgery on him, then do a rant video with him, some more surgery, and after all that, he wakes up in a room in a cave with a car battery hooked up to a device in the middle of his chest, with another dude in the room telling him that it's a magnet keeping whatever shrapnel is left in his body that he couldn't get out away from his heart so it doesn't get pumped into it or into any other vital organs or whatever. He's the one that performed life-saving surgery on him, by the way, and they're both prisoners of this terrorist group called the 10 Rings, who come in and tell Tony that they want him to build the Jericho missile for them, but he refuses, so they torture him a bit and try again, showing him that they have all his other weapons already, which is all he needs to build the Jericho missile for them. And once he does, they'll set him free. Yinsen, the bald doctor prisoner guy, was translating all this to Tony in real time, and at the end of it, Tony's like, you have a deal. He's never gonna let us go, is he? Nope. So motivated by Yinsen, Tony Bark comes up with a plan, orders a bunch of tools, and pretends like he's building the Jericho missile that they want, but instead starts building himself shit to aid in his escape. First thing he builds is a mini arc reactor, which is like a very powerful power source. He's going to use to power his heart or his chest piece to keep the shrapnel away from his heart. And according to him, it can run his heart for 50 lifetimes or something very big for 15 minutes. So essentially, the dude solved the world's energy crisis. Yeah, he's probably not going to share his technology with everybody because he doesn't want it to fall in the wrong hands. And also, I'm pretty sure that palladium shit is either really expensive or really hard to come by. But still, just saying. 10 Rings dudes watch all this happen believing he's working on the Jericho, so they don't do much about it. But then some time passes and he starts working on a metal suit that he can use to fight his way out of here, which will be powered by this new chest piece of his. They work on that stuff, play some backgammon, bro out, bond, and then work some more. Then the 10 Kings guys watching finally get suspicious that they're not building a Jericho, and they're like, what the fuck? That does not look like the missile. So they come in there to check on them with their very bald and evil leader, who is basically like, you make good weapon, I want your weapon. Yinsen, are you making weapon? Yes, you lie. No, I no lie. Yes, you lie. I swear I no lie. Yes, you do. I'm gonna feed you call now. No, don't. He's good assistant. I please need him, please. Okay, but I want missile tomorrow though. So now with a very tight deadline, Tony starts furiously beating his metal to finish up the suit. Both of them working really hard to finish up ASAP, and once they do, they start suiting up Tony out of sight of the cameras and sort of installing the software of it while Tony is memorizing the directions out of this cave. The 10 Wings people see this, or lack of this, and send some guards in there to check on them, but when they try to open the door, they blow up because Cloney and Yinsen booby-trapped the thing to blow up. Couldn't they have just as easily locked it from their side and welded that sliding peephole shut, or would that have made too much noise? Probably. Whatever. More guards are sent their way, but the suit's firmware is not done installing. Fucking Windows be picking the worst times to make their updates. Am I right, Tony? So Yinsen picks up one of their guns and tells Tony that he'll buy him some time, and he's like, no, don't do it, but he's like, I'm gonna buy you some time. It's literally like the you don't have to do this meme.
Don't do this! No, fuck you, I will do this! You don't have to do this! Fuck you, I will do this!
Except, you know, they're not trying to kill each other, they're trying to save each other. But who cares? He runs out, shooting the gun like a madman, scaring away some guards, but then he runs into more guards and they light him up. That is enough time bought though for Tony's suit to finally finish installation of his software. He's able to walk around and destroy the guards coming for him, making his way through the cave as a bulletproof, unstoppable force, scaring the shit out of everybody trying to slow him down. Then while fighting them, he gets his arm stuck in a wall, and this brain-dead retard tries to headshot him up close, but it reflects into him. And not only is there no visible bullet wound for when it reflected back in his fucking skull because of Disney's wacky-ass rules with blood and gore, but you know what's even more annoying is that if he would have aimed at one of his unprotected eye holes, his most vulnerable part in the suit that even a rat would know to go for, this movie would be over right now. I'm also pretty sure there's more exposed bits of that armor for him to move as easily as he does, so it's very surprising to me actually that no bullets actually make it through there accidentally, especially in this next scene where they just lay it on him with all his gunfire. Anyway, he keeps making his way through the cave, and bald 10 Dicks guy tries to take him out with a noob tube, but misses, so Tony clasps back with his own explosives and takes him out, then sees a bleeding out Yinsen and tells him that he ain't gonna make it, save yourself, don't waste your life, that type of shit, then dies. Tony keeps going, gets to the exit of the cave, and is greeted with a hailstorm of bullets bullets that, as mentioned, do not slip past any of the cracks in his armor. But whatever, Tony retaliates by cranking up the heat and lighting everything on fire with his flamethrowers, trying to take out as many of his weapons before leaving as he can, but then starts taking fire from a 50 cal and multiple other directions, finally taking out some vital parts of his suit on his body. So he hits the ejecto zero button. His suit starts propelling him out of there and he turns into Rocket Man, flying out of there as the place explodes. But it's only like a small rocket boost to escape and not a sustained flight type deal, so it crash lands in some dunes far enough away from them, only suffering a few cuts and bruises. The inertia from that alone should have caused irreversible damage to his body, if not death. There's actually a few more examples of this happening in this movie where inertia should have totally ass this guy, but I'm gonna ignore them all because I can't be bothered and we don't have time. Just know that they exist and they're bullshit. Moving on. He starts wandering the desert until a church party finally finds him. Rose happens to be in it and comes to him like, Lisa Nagaib. They fly him home, and as soon as he lands, he calls for two things. First, cheeseburgers. Second, a press conference where he announces that he will stop manufacturing and selling weapons and do something else because his shit is falling into the wrong hands and creating too much destruction. Now, this announcement obviously creates a bit of a stir that Mr. Shitstain has to contain. That rhymed. So after this, he goes to meet Tony at his factory, staring at his big arc reactor that they made a long time ago. Oh, but Dickhead comes at him like, the fuck was all that back there? Tony tells us that he doesn't want to make weapons anymore. He's seen all the destruction it causes. He wants to do something else. He wants to take another look into arc reactor technology. Shows him that he made a mini one on his chest, and as soon as Bald sees this, him and his wallet start salivating at the money-making possibilities of this. Tells Tony to lay low with the press for a while and not tell anybody about this new advancement in arc reactor technology while he deals with the shite storm he created when he announced that a weapons company will stop manufacturing weapons. Fucking voice crack. So Tony goes home and makes a new upgraded chest piece for himself, but he needs Pepper Potts, his assistant's help, to replace the old one and remove an exposed wire that's shorting somewhere and doing something bad. He disconnects the old one and she does that. And I don't really know how this works, how much time he has between exchanging and unplugging the old one and putting the new one in before the shrapnel reaches his heart, or whether the chest piece is a magnet as well as the power source, or just the power source and the magnet is the ring around in his chest. But when she was pulling the wire out, she also pulled out the magnet at the end of it as well. And he made it seem like it was vital that she didn't do that. So is that the magnet? Is the magnet in the chest piece? Is he in danger? Is he not in danger? How is he alive? I don't fucking get it. Whatever. She plugs in the new one. He's fine. He tells her to take the old chest piece and destroy it. Then he goes over to tell Rhodes that he's working on something new, unrelated to weapons, which really disappoints him. He's like, how dare you not continue making weapons of mass destruction and bloodshed? I spit on you. So he starts working on this new project in secret alone, fires up his computer with his completely useless gibberish keyboard. Like seriously, you're using English at the end anyway, so why are you using this? Did he invent a completely new language that is more efficient and didn't share it with anybody? Is this code so no one can tell what he's writing? Whatever. He starts making a new and improved suit. First he works on the rocket boots and tries to do a test flight or test hover with them at 10% thrust capacity, which comedically launches him into the ceiling behind him. And other than this being another example of a very injury-worthy incident that he did not get injured from at all, you're telling me that super genius Tony Stark miscalculated the equation for how much thrust he needed to lift his weight off the ground slightly? That's like 5th grade math. That's ass shit, bro. Whatever, he keeps working on flight stuff, making arm-hand flight stabilizers. Obadiah Shitstain comes back from a board of directors meeting telling him that they want to lock him out of the company, but maybe, just maybe, if he can take a look at what he's working on in secret down there, he can give the shareholders or whatever a reason not to do that. But Tony refuses it and continues working. Does another small and successful this time test flight in his garage. Then he suits up in some chrome exoskeleton armor, making a sleeker Iron Man suit, uploads Jarvis to it, then takes a bigger test flight outside where he tries to break the SR-71 Blackbird's altitude record by climbing as high as he can, but when he does that he faces a lot of icing, which shuts down his suit, causing him to drop faster than a pretty young woman dropping all her morals and dignity after finding out how much she can make on OnlyFans. But he's eventually able to break the ice and restart the suit and barely save himself from splatting onto the ground. Goes back home and tries to land on the roof but drops through it, breaking a bunch of floors and landing on a priceless AC Cobra. Then sees a gift from Pepper on his table that he rips apart in the stupidest movie character way possible. It's not packed tightly enough for you to open it that way. He's Stark. I don't know why this pisses me off so much. Also, later on in other MCU movies, I'm almost certain that he lands on other weaker things in more violent ways without punching a hole through them, like he did with his roof here, but I'm too lazy to go find them all. Also, throughout the MCU, I'm pretty sure he also upgrades his armor with stronger and lighter materials, so I could totally be talking out of my ass here. Probably am. Anyway, the gift is his old chest piece with a cute little quote surrounding it. Then he sits down to do some adjustments to suit, fixing the icing problem and giving it a new lick of paint. And while that happens, he sees on the TV that there's a firefighter benefit charity celebrity ball thing party happening that he hosts that he was not invited to. The disrespect, unbelievable. So he decides to go over there, make a surprise appearance, and probably score some poontang as well. Over there he meets this SHIELD agent who wants to have a meeting with him to debrief him on the circumstances of his escape, whatever that means. So Tony quickly agrees on whatever date he said, like, yeah, April 31st, you got a boss, because his assistant is looking very breathable tonight and she caught his eye. So he goes over there to dance with her and do some flirtation banter about how nervous she is looking this smashable and dancing with her boss in front of all these people. He assures her it's all fine with some more flirtation, then they go out to the balcony to get some fresh air. She overthinks this whole thing some more, then almost kisses him, so he goes to get her a drink to calm her nerves. But while doing that, he runs into the reporter with the punchable face, who grills him on the fact that he said he'd stop making and selling weapons, yet he just sold some to the 10 rings recently that they're using to terrorize this small town called Gulmira that just so happens to be Yinsen's old hometown, showing him picture proof of this shit. So he goes to confront Mr. Pistain about the fact that they're still making and selling weapons not just to the government but also to the enemy, to which he basically responds with, with, "I like money, dude, okay? And I don't care about any morals, especially yours. Who do you think pushed for locking you out of the company, buddy?" Then he leaves. Tony goes home to brood while watching the news about Galmira, sees the ball on TV. Who got knocked out and scarred by that attempt in blowing him up from Tony, who's adjusting his flight stabilizers and realizes that he can use them as weapons themselves, as displayed when he breaks all this glass. Don't know how effective that shit is, cause the wall behind the glass is completely fucking fine, but let's pretend that does a lot of damage. He outfits this brand new suit with a bit more weapons, then puts it on in this suit up scene that was the hottest shit back in 2008, and flies over to Galmira, does a superhero landing, and takes out all the 10 rings, being 10 pricks in the asshole of the residents of this town. Then takes off again to look for his weapons so he can destroy them, but while doing that gets shot down by a tank. And you know what I just realized? His flying posture sucks ass and must hurt his back like a motherfucker. Just try it yourself, you know, after you're done shitting or laying in bed. Get up and try and hold this posture, aka stare at your ceiling for 22 fucking hours. Bet that shit gets annoying after 22 seconds. Now imagine how fucked Tony's neck is. Can he just fly around as if he's standing upright and have a camera at the top of his head to see where he's going? Doesn't matter. He one shot, one kills that tank and walks away without looking at the explosion because cool guys don't look at explosions. Then he finds some more of his weapons and destroys them, then flies off. The Air Force is alerted to an unknown bogey in this area, which is him. So Rhodes calls him to see if the new thing that he told him he was going to work on is this thing. Like, is this what you're doing? I haven't the slightest clue what you're talking about, bro. So then they send a couple fighter jets after him to attack. He launches flares to try and escape and does some more evasive maneuvers, then is able to outbreak them and calls back Rudy saying, "Alright, it's me. And it's not a piece of equipment, it's a suit and I'm in it." But then one of the jets sees him on the belly of the other jet and he's like, "Do a barrel roll, try to shake him." How the fuck did he even get there when he did this to escape them? Whatever, the jet does a bunch of rolls to shake him off and he does get shaken off but hits the wing of the other plane, forcing the pilot to eject. Then Tony helps him pull the chute because the handle is jammed and flies home. Rudy then covers up this incident to the media by calling it a training exercise gone wrong, gone sexual, while Pepper finally sees what Tony's been working on once he arrives home and tries to take the suit off. Then a little while later we see a meeting of the bald Obadiah comes in and goes to meet the leader of the 10 Pricks gang because they've been collecting the remaining bits of Tony's cave escape suit and Mr. Comstein wants it, so he's there to get it. And as it turns out, Obadiah is the one that ordered the hit on Tony, but they didn't follow through with it and kept him alive to try and get something out of him. That's all water under the goat right now though, because bald Arab tries to make another deal with bald American for the suit, but Obadiah just paralyzes him using this banned sound wave paralysis tech he's immune to because he has these specialized earbuds in that were not visible in any of the previous shots, by the way. He has his guards kill him and his men, then load up the suit and everything else to take back to the arc reactor factory where he tasks his best scientists to make him a mini arc reactor just like Tony and his very own bigger, badder suit. Then we come back over to Tony telling Pepper to sneak into his office at the factory, go into a certain file on his computer and find all the most recent sales and shipments so he can go and destroy all his weapons. She's like, "Nah, I won't do that. You'll get yourself killed." He's like, "Come on, I'm trying to do good this time." So she's like, "Fine," and goes over there to do that and finds more than he requested. She finds schematics for a massive new mech suit and proof that Obadiah should stay in order the 10 rings hit on him. So she copies all that onto a USB stick and is just able to slip past Obadiah, who saw her doing some shady shit on the computer and realized too late what she had done, and she walks away in a hurry with that same SHIELD agent who wanted a debrief meeting with Tony. Obadiah realizes he's running out of time, so he goes to the scientists who have failed to make him a mini arc reactor because they're too stupid, and he gets angry with them for that in that classic "Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave" scene. And instead he goes over to Tony's house to steal the chess piece currently on him by paralyzing him with that same device from earlier, right as he was getting a call from Pepper. It's nighttime right now. Are you seriously telling me that Obadiah drove all the way over there, found a comfy hiding spot behind the couch, waited for Tony to come down, and in all this time that stupid ass vagina-scented candle whore did not get the idea to call him and warn him about what she found? What a stupid bitch. Anyway, he tells him he's the one that organized his kidnapping and his failed murder. While extracting his chess piece with a custom extraction tool, he talks some more shit, then leaves with it to let Tony's heart get destroyed by shrapnel. But then Tony remembers that Posse didn't destroy his old chess piece, so he stumbles, crawls, and claws his way over to it through the garage, but doesn't have enough strength to reach for it, so one of his robot helpers hands it to him and he does a swift unboxing to plug it into his chest and save his life. I have many issues with what just happened. For starters, when Bald paralyzed the other bald Afghani, he told him the paralysis would only last for 50 minutes. Tony started moving in like 3. Secondly, I find it very infuriating and very uncharacteristic for super smart Tony, even under pressure, super smart Tony, not to use this mechanics dolly to move around easier instead of crawling. He just pushes it away. And thirdly, I have pretty much the same gripe with when he reaches for the old chess piece that's on top of a few like books or magazines. He can't reach it and keeps pushing it back with his fingertips, then gives up when he simply could have yanked the books down and let it drop on the floor if he's gonna break it anyway. Like, what the any moron would know this. Whatever though. Pepper called Rhodes when Tony didn't answer and told him to go check on him, so he does, and he finds him in the state he's in, having plugged the old thing back in his chest, and Rhodes tells him that Pepper is on her way with a few SHIELD agents to go arrest Obadiah, who just powered up his new suit with Tony's chess piece and gets into it. Tony knows that mere fleshy human meat sacks are no match for him now, so he suits up himself and tells Rhodes to keep the skies clear for him, and flies over to save Pepper and fight Mr. Scheitstein, who is currently attacking the SHIELD agents that came for him in Section 16 under the arc reactor where he was making the suit and stuff. Tries to kill a fleeing Pepper, but this seemingly fortified doorway stops him, so he just pops out of the street to kill her, which is somehow easier for him him to do, but thankfully Tony arrives just in time for the final boss fight and protects her. They tear through the ground, the walls, a truck, and end up fighting on the street. Tony does a, I'm pretty sure, very energy-hungry chest power shot to save an Audi product placement, then sets it down gently to save the family in it, which wastes even more energy from his way inferior literal caveman chest piece. All this takes it down to 19% power. He fights Stain some more, gets thrown into a bus and blown up, but comes out of it floating in style, which prompts Stain to start flying as well, so Tony decides to go to max altitude. Although flying really super drains his chest piece, it's like trying to play PUBG on an iPhone 6 in 2025, his shit is draining fast. From 15% to 7% in a matter of seconds. But it keeps climbing anyway because Obi-Wan Kenobi is following him. He gets to him and is like, gotcha bitch. Yeah, you did, but how'd you deal with the icing problem? Bald guy's suit freezes over, shuts down, and drops faster than Zorgath the Destroyer, aka the trans wedding cake. Tony also starts to make his way down a bit slower though because his suit is running on 2% power now, so his thrusters are failing. He gets to the roof of his factory and starts taking off his suit, which is a dumb as fuck idea because he just assumes that Obadiah died, and he didn't. He survived somehow and comes back to continue fighting with him. Gives him a grand old squeeze. Tony escapes that using some flares, then hides to call Pepper, instructing her to overload the reactor and hit the big red button to fry everything on the roof on his cue. I don't know how she knows to do all this stuff. She is just an assistant, and this thing is a 30-year-old publicity stunt according to Stain, but whatever, maybe she was very hands-on with this thing, who cares. She starts flipping all these switches to overload the reactor and waits for Tony's command to push the big red button. Meanwhile, up top, he re-engaged the bald guy, jumping on his back, ripping apart important looking exposed shit from the suit, which happens to be his viewing / targeting system or whatever, but then gets thrown onto this glass roof bit of the building with his helmet off. Baldo opens up his suit to reveal his mini diva form, Gatling guns the glass beneath Tony and tries to blow him up with missiles, but his targeting system got ripped out, so he's kinda inaccurate, so he just keeps firing and getting closer and closer to Tony, who yells at Pepper to press the button. She does. The reactor overloads and creates this sort of initial shockwave that pushes Tony out of the way, and the ensuing, I don't know what to call this, fuck you power blast to this guy, kills bald guy or fries him or something, without frying Tony as well, although he seems to be just as close to that glass roof as Obadiah was, but whatever. Dude falls into the reactor, blows up and dies. Tony survives, and the next day S.H.I.E.L.D. comes up with a bullshit cover story to explain away last night's events to the public, that he wasn't there, he was on a yacht somewhere, and the guy in the suit was a bodyguard, blah blah blah, but when it comes time to read the shit off the cards, he's like, fuck that noise, I am Iron Man, and everybody loses their shit. This movie gets 67 deep seeks out of 32 chat GPTs.